Okay, so we should be back. Should be back? Yep, we're back. Fantastic. Fantastic. There we go. Mute that. Perfect, perfect. Nice. Okay, we're doing it. We're back in Valheim. I need to leave this place because it's a little loud. I can turn this down. So Valheim, we're back. I don't know what day it is. It's gonna be like 70 something, maybe 70. 70. It's in the 70s now. I think the last time I did a stream was like in the 50s. So time has passed greatly, given we're on a server, so other people could be getting on and whatnot. We're gonna do a recap though, because it's been ages since I've actually done a full stream or anything like that, and time's been flying by. I don't really stream if I have my buddies on or my brother on. My buddy's my buddy Logan. Because we talk, and so far it doesn't seem like I haven't really asked him, but yeah, it's just some of the conversations we have are kind of personal, work related, or whatnot. It's a bit easier just to stream by myself at the current moment, but that may change one day. So this is the map as of now. Okay, uh, the turtle is taking shape. We've got one flipper down here, the head, and the other flipper. We may go see what else is out there. The trader. We discovered the trader. I mentioned that in the previous short video that we discovered the trader, and we'll actually go visit him really quick. So we actually went and fought the elder. So we took a boat down to the elder here, and we took a long way home. Found a bit of a swamp. I don't know how big it is. Wrapped around, and we were able to clip just high enough to see the marker for the trader. And so my buddy Logan sailed back over here, built a portal, and I've been kind of building up a base over here, which has taken a minute, but it's pretty big. Okay, so this is what the base is kind of looking like. Now, I'm pretty new to Valheim's building mechanics. All the builds I've done in the past were pretty basic. This one's a bit big. It's a bigger build that I've done, so getting used to mechanics. But I'm liking these shutters, so I used quite a bit of those. They're really nice looking. Built a little storage area back in here that we can fill up. You need a campfire, of course. I don't have a stone cutter over here, so I kind of had to do some dirt raising over there to get it to kind of look good on the inside. Yeah, a little balcony type area over here. I figure we can put more portals up in the roof. That way, when we all kind of move apart, or when I move apart, whatnot, or maybe just back in here, we could put another couple portals or something. We'll have access to get to the trader rather quickly. But yeah, it was a pretty fun build. Learning the mechanics of building was a bit interesting. Figuring out how to play. I'm still getting used to how to place things and just different mechanics in terms of how to like distribute the load and all that stuff. I've pretty much realized though you're gonna have to like. It was something that I read or watched a video on about how you're supposed to like lay out a good structure before you build anything, and I didn't really follow that. So I could have used more core logs. If I'd used more core logs like in the center here, I could have built it a little bit bigger. But anyway, we've got and I'm clearing this. I'm clearing this out over here to get wood. So that's been fun. So that's what I'm doing over here. Pretty much gonna leave the stumps. Hopefully these trees grow back and we can just cut them back down again. Easy source of wood. I actually lost this core wood pile. I placed it at nighttime in a fray of killing. And yeah, so I haven't really done too much exploring on this. I think it's in like a pretty small, pretty reasonably sized island. So in the future, one of us could use it, turn it, you know, turn some of it into a pretty good looking base. So we got a dungeon here. And I'm not going to really explore it or anything. It's not too big a deal, but we got the trader unlocked. So that has been interesting. It's been a while since I played the game, but since we ported a lot of stuff over from our previous save or whatnot, the trader has not been too terribly interesting to me. For the amount of gold that you get in this game, I'm not gonna say not worth it, because Haldor's pretty cool. But I already got this, I don't know how you're gonna say that, Diverger, I don't know, Diverger Circlet. I've got this guy. I think actually this was the first thing I bought. Ymir flesh, we may need more of. I'm not too familiar about. This is how I crafted my hammer here with Ymir flesh. Fishing bait, and fishing rods are okay. I didn't really like the fish mechanic in this game. I don't know if they've changed it. If they have, we may look back into that. And thunderstones, they cost 50 per, and we figured out how that works, I think. So far, all I know that I can craft one thing with it. It's called the Obliterator. Where did I find that? Here it is, the Obliterator, this thing. And so we were trying to figure out how it worked, trying to figure out what it did. And we were playing around with it. Basically, at first we thought it was just a big trash can. Like, we just put like one item in there, and we flipped the lever, and it just got like destroyed. And then we put a few things in there, and it turned into coal. And then I'm like, okay. And then we put some more stuff in there. We found out that if we put enough stuff in, you get coal. And then we're like, all right, screw it. We're gonna look up how this thing works on the Wikipedia page, because I mean, yeah, we can goof around with the thing all day, but it wasn't really worth our time to just goof around with it and figure it out. So that's what we did. We got a ship burial site. So one thing I need to work on is blocking. I need to get my blocking skill up. It's pretty low still, and we need to get that up. Damage absorbed with the shield, that's amazing. The club is taking ages to get up. It just does so much damage to these creatures that I can only hit them like 1 or 2 times. And they just roll over. So, also we got death number 4. We died another time, and I did that off camera twice, I guess. Died at Elder once. Died over here last night. I was not paying attention. So that was my bad. I was fighting something, and I had the Netflix or HBO on, and I got really wrapped up in the show. And of course, something really interesting happened, and I died. So we can actually X this out too, because there we go. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the other base, and we're gonna do what we're gonna try to start working on something that actually matters, because this base doesn't really matter a whole lot. Originally Logan just built this little shack. Oh, maybe we can find the boat too. He could have potentially broke it down into its raw materials, but I don't think he did. I think I ran the whole coast down here and I didn't see it. So I don't know where he put it. I don't know where he put it. Now he could have sailed away. I don't think he did though, in particular. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think he did. I don't... Where's the deer? This deer has not moved. Last time I came through here, this deer was here. Just put him out of his misery. Okay. So yeah, we'll go start working on a base. And I'll show you some of the momentum I've got going. Do. 1 second. Where do we want to go? We want to go here. Okay. I just remembered. So I've got a YouTube channel I don't use. There's nothing really on it. When I say there's nothing really on it, there's nothing on it. What it is used for currently is when I first started doing Twitch, I was like, we'll just do the whole shebang. So I made an Instagram. I made I don't like Twitter, so I didn't make a Twitter. I really don't like Twitter. It's not something I care for. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the formatting. I just don't know. It just seems like a useless tool to me. So I made every possible thing I could think of, including a place where I can do podcasts. You know, because everyone's always telling me I should do a podcast, or guys at work say I should write a book because I can talk. I mean, I can talk about anything. So, and I've got stories. I've got a ton of stories. A lot of them aren't appropriate for this. Not that like they're bad or they're just personal kind of stories. And so yeah. So anyway, so I made this YouTube channel, and what I did, and what I'm still trying to do, is port the stuff I do on Twitch over to YouTube. And it's just gonna be there because YouTube, man, you don't even have to have it on like public. You don't have to have it available. You don't have to have it any views on it, and it will literally be there on someone's server for free until the day you die. So far, that's the way it's going. And I did not mean to click that. We've got an axe. We'll just... we could go cut down some trees. Let's just go cut down some trees. Because I got something else we could do. We got another project. We got another project that will actually be beneficial. We'll go set up a portal to the spawn. That's what we'll do too. The world spawn. So I've got 4 minutes. We'll cut down some trees, and we'll be good to go. So there's a lot to do. I gotta make the foundations for this base. I'm pretty much the only one doing it right now, which is cool. I'm not mad. It was kind of the way I'm going about doing it is sort of my idea. So I'm kind of thankful that no one else is touching it, because you get too many cooks in the kitchen and your food gets burned or tastes like crap. You know, I don't know. I don't know the rest of that saying, but yeah, you don't want too many cooks in the kitchen. And I should have done some kind of resting buff, but we only got Sony. Okay, he has a weak arm. Come up here, man. I need to block you. Alright, there we go. So yeah. And for the build, the way I'm going about doing this is, or for the base, is... You'll see it in a bit. Alright, you'll see it. But there's a wooden wall. There's going to be a wooden wall. Yeah, so there's going to be a wooden wall, And that wooden wall is going to go around all these different little sections of the base. So it has like these like layers of terrain, and all those are sectioned off. And luckily, I've seen it in action. I've seen it in action, and it works. It works like a charm. It does the trick really well. And it actually seems like, holy crap. Oh my gosh. I didn't even know I had the capability of seeing that. I didn't know you existed. I'm sorry. I don't have any arrows. I had no idea I could actually... I've never seen one of these. Okay, that did nothing to him. It did absolutely nothing to him. He's getting healed. Okay, it kind of shifts him. It doesn't really stop him, but it shifts him around. Okay, he's kind of running off. These guys don't like fire. I don't think I have anything that does any fire damage. What is causing these guys to spawn? Oh my gosh. Well, luckily I ate that mushroom. I mean, holy crap. Okay, here comes Papa Doc. Can I block him? Nope, I can't block him. I cannot. Hey, to answer your question, guys, I can't block that guy. So we need to just take a run. Actually, I can go that way. Go to safety. Get him away from the house. Go to my buddy Haldor here. He's got the setup. Hey guys, come on, I'll just come over here. Oh look, oh you can't come in. Oh no, dude, just come inside. Come in, up. Oh you can't, can you? Oh, hey, I'm back. Hey, come in, up. Nope, up. Oh okay, they can't come inside. Haldor, he's got the hookup. Oh Haldor, well, glad to see you, partner. I mean, Haldor, he's just a blue dwarf here. He's just taking me in with open arms. They like the H's in this game. I don't know what it is with the H's, but they got Halstein here. You got Haldor. You got Hugin. You got all the H's. You know, they got all the H's. I should have named my character with an H, but it wouldn't make sense. That brute is just out there. He is waiting. He's waiting for me to slip up. I can't actually make... maybe I can craft a... Can I craft in here, Porter? I don't think I craft in your little safety net. Oh, maybe I can. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me we'll just do a little shack here. I'm a big fan of these little shacks. I'm a huge fan, actually. Okay. So we got a little shack. We can do some wooden arrows. Not a very effective arrows, mind you, but they're just good enough. Alright, here we go. Alright, come on, Grey Dwarf. Okay, alright, I see you. Oh, I missed you. How did it... Dude, that just smoked that guy. Uppercut of death. Oh my gosh. Just smoked him. Like, was it like a level 2 Grey Dwarf? Just killed him. Alright, here we go. Dude, I am getting strong. Getting strong. Okay, there he is. That's the man I wanted to see. So I don't think I can actually block this guy. We'll give it the old college try again. I don't think he killed me. Okay, yeah, I can't block him. And you're like, why would you do that a second time? You knew you couldn't block him. I'll tell you this. Doesn't hurt to give it a second chance. Okay, that really didn't do any damage to him. So we got my Ymir Flesh Hammer. Luckily, it backs him up just enough. To where I can, if I time it right, he can't hit me. It's got the oomph that we need. Just, okay, I blocked that. Somehow, I was able to do it. Does this have more blocking power than my shield? That'd be actually kind of sad. It'd basically be saying like, hey, get a new shield, Nick. This guy dropped all the stuff. What's the blocking power on this? Block force 50. Block force 20? What's a block force on 30? So if I got my shield in this thing out, my mace is actually doing a better job than my shield. Oh, we need a new shield. We need a new shield. That's all there is to say about it. So we actually want to use this guy. Come on, man. Come on, man. Or maybe we have to use a shield. I don't know. Actually, what I can use to raise it up. Die. Absolutely love the mace. It just makes these guys fly. Okay, there everyone is. How you doing, partner? How you doing? Here we go. Oh yeah. Here we go. Come on, partner. Come on. Here we go. Okay. Let's go do some building. There's actually a weapon I read about in the patch notes that allows you to use your fists. Grey Dwarf Trophy. We want to drop the... I'm gonna drop the dandelions. Okay, there's a few guys. I'm not gonna lie. Boom. Love these blunt force weapons, man. Love them. Okay. Let's get up on out of here. Been here long enough. Alright. Maybe we can add a day counter too. I think that'd be kind of cool. Let me see if I can actually do something here. We do not want to do that. We want to... We'll just see what day it is first. Okay, so I got some deer hide. No feathers, no nothing. Nature. Oh, I got some more. Here we go. No. Okay. Go over here. Got a trophy. Got some resin. Got some of that. Because it's not quite day yet. Okay, dokie. It's gotta be day. Maybe it's almost there. Okay, so back to the grind. We didn't get as many logs as I would have hoped, but we had some unforeseen circumstances by having that really big bad guy show up, and me getting really scared of him. I'm not gonna lie, I got absolutely terrified from him. But apparently we can block him. Maybe we should look into a new shield. Let's do that. Okay. So we had, oh, I think that tower shield was mine actually. Yep, that class. Okay. Tall, shield, strong. Okay, that gives us a movement speed decrease of negative 20%. Is there a lighter shield that we can use? We don't have a forge set up here, which is a little disappointment. Just haven't made the transition over here yet completely. I do like the Coke Zero sugar. I think that's good. 0-calorie cola. It's a good one. The can is absolutely a classic. It's a really good looking can. Pair some stuff up. Okay, so we've got a cultivator. We don't need the bronze buckler though. We also got an iron buckler, which is probably what we want. We need 10 iron and 4 ancient bark. The sad thing is I can't bring iron over here because of the portal. And I could sail it down. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I'd have to make another boat. It's not really worth my time right now. I mean, how much blocking force does it give? 30? How is it that my hammer, my iron sledge, has a blocking force of 50? Hey, my man, how you doing? Oh, you don't need to run away, partner. You don't need to run away. Watch that. You like that? Oh, I can. That improves my blocking. Okay, dude, we just need to block all the time. I need to get my blocking up because there's going to be a day when we're going to fight another boss, and I need to be able to block more. So instead of just hitting these guys, you just got to block them. I wonder, these guys, unfortunately, they're not like the guys in the swamp. These guys go kind of easy. They will not just sit there and wail on you like the guys in the swamp do. They'll just go right for you. They'll just keep coming. So they take a little while to level up, or to level up your blocking here. So no real big deal there. Yeah. So we're gonna lay down the foundations of our base. I said this. We're gonna do it. Oh, and we gotta do a portal. We gotta do a portal to the spawn. Okay, let's do that too. We can do that. No problemo. We need great orph eyes. It's in a misc. We need 10 great orph eyes, 20 fine wood, 2 sterling cores. So we need 20 of those. We need 2 sterling cores, which means we need 4, which is under monsters again. Oh, 4, perfect. And we need some fine wood. Do we have any fine wood in this chest? Yes, we need 40, if I'm not mistaken. We're a bit encumbered, which means I can put a stack of wood back in here and we'll get that later. Okay, so I have 10, so I need 20. 40 and 4. 20, 40, and 4. Okay, cool, cool, cool. And the reason I'm needing a portal is it's getting really annoying for me to let's do this. Trader. How is this connected? Oh. Okay, so we've got a portal here called Trader. We got a portal here called actually we'll make this com. Okay. And this one is called Spawn, S-P-A-W-N. S-P-A-W-N. And hopefully I've got the materials for... I do. Okay. And we're going for a little run. I don't really mind running this game. You do a lot of it. We're going for a little run. I could have sailed down here, but no, I couldn't because it's so inland. I need to be able to make a compass. That could be kind of cool. Just putting like some kind of compass point down. Dude, the berries are good. They're early game food. They're really good. We need a cauldron. We just need to start crafting a base. We need to get up on that. Oh wait, that seems to be my job. That seems to be what we're doing. That is what we're doing. It's just taking a while. Do. Thistle. I try to pick that stuff up. Ingredients, man. You gotta keep picking those ingredients. I'm a big fan of the ingredients. So, a guy I work with, he was able to design this, basically it was like, so I work in a kind of like a corporate office kind of setting. In the building that I work, there's probably close to anywhere from, I want to say there's like 100 people downstairs and maybe another 100 people upstairs. There's probably about anywhere from 200 to 300 employees in the building that I work. So some people are going to have more people that work in their building, some people are going to have less. I work with there's also a lot of production associates that work. So I'm on the corporate side of the building, and well, I don't want to say corporate side. And the more white collar, we could say white collar. And the more white collar side of the building, there's anywhere from 200 to 300 employees. And kind of more like the blue physical labor side of things, there's probably maybe probably about the same amount, if not more, yeah. Regardless, you have all these employees in there. I don't know. I don't know exact numbers, but we have all these employees, and there's also multiple shifts. So that's one thing. On the more production side of things, there's multiple shifts. So we have a lot of people in the office, but that kind of compensates because we're solving problems not for just our shift, but for shifts that we're not working with. We're not working with during the same time. So there's that. So yeah, there's definitely way more production associates than there are office associates. Yeah. But anyway, this coworker of mine, they were able to design this. It's basically, I don't know the best way to describe it. So like when you go in like a hospital or uh, a school or an office or some kind, basically a place with multiple locations in it, they're gonna have some kind of sign that shows you where people are. You know, like when you go in a mall, it's like you are here, that kind of deal. We don't have that where I work. So sometimes when you look around for somebody, you don't know exactly where they are. And it's not like we designed one of those. There's a spot I told people, I'm like, dude, this would be a really good spot to kind of put like a map. And they're like, why would we do that? I'm like, you know how hard it is sometimes to find somebody in this building? So that's not what happened though. But anyway, we basically, the company, not we, the company decided to build a bigger building that is kind of behind the one that I work in. And my boss, one of my bosses, she went in the new building and saw these things, these kind of like, basically it just states the name of everybody that's in that cubicle, because we work in cubicles. And not, I actually like the cubicle I work in. There's, like on TV, there's some types of cubicles out there that I would absolutely hate. The style of them, I would hate them. But the one I work in is actually no big deal to me. I'm actually perfectly fine working on like out of the cubicle. And so anyway, she saw this and she's like, I want that for my associates. And there's like 60 of us in her team, and so she's like, I want this for my 60 employees. And not a bad idea. It doesn't. No biggie to me or anything. I'm all for it. And that sounded sarcastic. No, I am all for it. And so anyway, a coworker of mine, they were able to. There was a guy working on it before him, and that guy quit. He left. Just better opportunity for him. So, I definitely have no hard feelings towards him, though I'm sure some people may. And I think that'd be a fine place for a window. And we'll just do this as a full here, and then we'll put the door. I kind of want the door to open that way. It doesn't look right. There we go. And so just a better opportunity. And so yeah, I've got no ill will towards him. And all of a sudden a song popped in my head. And so he worked on it and he thought it was stupid, and he kind of did it up. And I think the main reason he thought it was stupid was, and I kind of agreed with him, was it looked bad. So my boss basically asked this coworker of mine, not the more recent one, to replicate what they did in this other building. And it just didn't look good. It was more like they... What's going on with this clipping problem? It's like, for some reason, they wanted to save money somewhere or something, and it just didn't look good. It didn't look good at all. And so that's one reason I was against it. I'm like, this looks bad. I really don't want this in the office. It wasn't like it was a bad idea. Essentially, what they had was, and we kept the idea, which was, it was a sheet of steel. So we work with a lot of steel, and so we have steel on hand. And what you do is you take magnetized nameplates, and you print out someone's name on the nameplate or whatnot, and then you just, you can move the name tags around. So if someone moves to a different desk, which doesn't happen all the time, but it happens, and if someone moves to a different desk, then you can just kind of take their little name tag and move it. No big deal. So, you know, it wasn't a bad idea by any means. And let's put that there. And so yeah, you know, handy little thing. And so he didn't like the idea because it was just a sheet of steel, and I agreed with him that it didn't look good. And essentially, at that time, that's essentially what our boss was wanting, just this like sheet of steel. I mean, it was cool, you know, but you know, just because something's cool, you can always improve upon something. Nothing is, there is not one perfect thing on this planet. Everything can be improved upon, and the reason I can say that with certainty, all right, is there's a lot of reasons why people do certain things, and a lot of it comes down to money. I mean, that's honestly the truth of things. And it often makes sense because you can't always say, I can spend the most amount of... Nothing's free. If you price something too high, people can't afford it. You know, or it's not practical. You know, you use a material that isn't accessible or something along those lines, and now we start having problems, you know. So anyway, so it was just a sheet of steel, and it didn't look good. It just didn't look good. So anyway, the coworker of mine comes up with this nifty idea where you get it to come in. Basically, I mean, it was like instantaneous to me, like, you know, like that. That as soon as I saw this, I knew what it was, which is essentially the way they make stop signs or street signs. So, basically, it's called UV printing, I think. UV laser printer. Okay, so, and yes, UV laser printer. Okay, so basically, we paid a company to do these signs for me, and we go through them often, and because we do a lot of different things that not necessarily need to be UV printed, but they do a lot of like signs and labels, and we do some labels in house, but anyway, they basically help us out a lot. We buy a lot of stuff from them, and there we go. And so he's like, let's get this thing UV printed, and it looked really good. It looked really good. I mean, it was a sheet of steel. It had some basically the back side of it was black, so that should prevent the steel from oxidizing. And yeah, it's a nifty little shack. Nothing extravagant for sure, but it will get the job done, securing our portal. And there we go. Perfect. A nifty little shack. Did we get the elder one here? Okay, I'll wait to do that one then. But I need this. Oh. Man. Yeah, so yeah, it was really cool. It looks really good. It's big to me. It's so for something that's only gonna have 8 people's names on it. Okay. It's a 15 by 15 steel sheet, and it's got like kind of a footer and a header with some text. It's got like the company logo on it, and it's got like the company name on it, and it's got like the year that. So a company that the company I work for is still family owned. It does not have a board. Well, I mean, it doesn't have like shareholders. So it's still a family-owned company. It's been around since the 1800s, late 1800s. Let's say that it's been around since the 1800s, um, and it's still family owned. So it's kind of an impressive deal if that's the sort of thing that you care about. And so, as a company, it's they kind of make a big deal out of it, and it's well, their employees make a big deal out of it, especially when COVID happened. We didn't shut our doors or anything like that, and that was really a cool deal. And I don't think a lot of people I worked with understood that we did not shut our doors, because we manufacture stuff and it requires metal, and you know that has to be got from somewhere. A lot of places that make steel and stuff, they close down. So we'll see if this increases my blocking. I'm a bit curious. I don't particularly know. So I'm just going to block this guy for a minute. Okay, we can just butt up against this tree here. Go over here for a second. We'll check our blocking. Blocking is about a little past the 5. He got smoked. Okay. Oh yeah, so you're starting to see the base here. It's going along pretty good. And that's Logan's little cantina over there. He's gonna kerfuffle. Oh, look at that! Holy crap! Oh yeah, this guy's leveling up my blocking big time. So we don't want to parry. That is the thing I've learned just now. We do not want to parry. That apparently does not give you a whole lot of blocking. So it's apparently like every hit. I would assume the parry would have been like, here's a ton of XP because you landed that well-timed block. We're going to give you a ton of XP. Oh yeah, here's the... But no, it don't. It does not do that. So we're going to block till we hit 16 and we'll absolutely demolish this guy. Should be getting close. Okay, he does a little screw around. Okay, here's next wave of attacks. Here he goes. Come on. You can do it. You can hit me, I believe. Oh, I haven't really noticed, but he's got dandelions coming out of his head. Come on, man. That's it? That's all you got? Okay. Come on. Do it. There we go. That attack does so much damage. Okay. Yep, so here's the little, this is what we got going on. It is, I'm liking it so far. So what I did is the land obviously is hilly, alright? And pretty much anytime it kind of flattened out, I smoothed it out. I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. And I kind of got the idea, okay, so the idea was we're at the base of a mountain. So you can kind of see it there. And there was this great big hill, and I'm like, okay. The idea was twofold. I didn't really know you could make a base in the mountains and it be effective. I thought you would just like die or, something would come along and just destroy the crap out of your base. And I was just or even a black forest. I thought you could make a actual base except anywhere except the meadows, and that turns out to be kind of wrong. And so I basically was like, all right, there's a mountain there. Let's put a base kind of at the foothills, and we'll just expand up to the mountain, and we'll do this really cool mountain kind of stronghold. And that was the idea. The leveling thing out I actually got from essentially, I don't want to say Skyrim, but that's kind of where it stems from. It stems from a lot of different things. World of Warcraft, a lot of RPGs, MMO type things. But anyway, in a lot of building, I live in the U.S. course, my voice. Uh, and in the U.S., at least where I live, it's not. Well, yeah, I should specify that. In the state I live, it's not particularly mountainous, so I would never see something this drastic. And of course, with modern technology and the hills that we have, we just build supporting structures on the hill. So concrete, mostly brick, because the city I live in is older. So you have brick kind of structure, and then you build a house on top of that, and the house is sort of on a hill. And but this style where you kind of level off the next level, level up the next level. That stuff seems to be really popular in RPGs. That style is just, you see it all the time. But like Skyrim, the first town you go to, uh, it's not Riften. I know that. It starts with an R though, but it's been ages since I played Skyrim, and I'm actually feeling really bad that I don't know. Oh man, is it Riverwood? It could be Riverwood. No, it's Whiterun. So the first town you go to is Whiterun, I think. I can't recall. I think that's Whiterun. And it's kind of got this leveling going on. So yeah, that's mostly when I saw these hills. I was like, we can do this. We can flatten this out, and I'm liking it so far. I actually had some creatures of the swamp come up and try to take me out to dinner, of course. And the walls worked the way I wanted to. They were able to absorb damage, good amount of damage. Of course, that it's open, I couldn't really see how much damage they could actually take because they, of course, like auto-pathed to the entrances. They were like, "We're just gonna go to these big openings and we'll get in, no problem." And I'm like, "You pieces of crap." So yeah, that was a bit of a letdown. So I didn't really get to see the place in full action, but nonetheless, it worked out. I don't want to expand this way too much, just a bit. Also, I think they're called worms. Wyverns? I don't know. We need to drop the dandelion. And I think they're basically, there's some dragons up there, and I call them drakes because I thought they were drakes. Like off memory, I thought they were drakes. I'm like, these guys are called drakes. A drake does what a drake does. I've never fought one before, and I was like, we need to fight one. And the only thing, day 83. So I need to remember that really quick. I just did a sneak attack damage on that guy. That's absolutely insane. Day 83. Okay. And we drop that guy. Okay. What I want to do right quick is I want to see if I can go into my thing here. And I want to see if I can copy this. Do. Copy. Can I paste it? And okay, we can paste that. And can I rename this one? I don't think so. Yeah, I can't. I want to duplicate it. But I'm not the best, and I don't know how to do it. Can I? Paste duplicate. Perfect. Perfect. Day counter. 83 is what I said, right? We're going to do day counter. Day, and we can change this rather rapidly. Day counter. Counter. 83. Perfect. Perfect. That'd be fun. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's my favorite font. I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't want everyone to steal it and popularize it. But that is my. Actually, technically, that is not my favorite font. It is my favorite style of font. My favorite font is actually slightly thinner, and it's got a bit more of a curve to that font. But I still don't want to popularize it. If you know what it is, please keep your mouth shut. I like that font. I don't want to make it trendy. I want to keep it to myself. I had this teacher in college, and the second day of class with her, so this was the third day of my university career. So I went to community college, and then I went to college. And this was my first day, my third day of like actual university career. And basically, at the time, I didn't have internet. Okay, and looking back, looking back at the situation, it was not a fun time. I was not in a good place at that time. Not emotionally, both emotionally, but you know, financially and you know, who isn't at that time. So, but anyway, regardless, I didn't have internet, and so at my apartment, and so she's like, if you don't have internet, which a lot of people were moving into apartments, so it wasn't typically uncommon for someone not to have internet. But a lot of people were living in the dorms, and the dorms, of course, have internet. You know, it's just that time where we use the internet for everything, and people that do class need the internet. And so, she says, "Hey, you can go to the library," and the library has this. And what she wanted was us to, whenever we took a test, she wanted us to use an anti-cheat software. So you download the software, and then you log into it, you don't log into it. You open it up, and then it goes straight to a specific URL called Blackboard. So a lot of universities use Blackboard. It's really popular. If you don't know what it is, it's essentially like a I don't know. It's not a media thing. It kind of can be, but it's not. It's basically a place where you can organize universities, particularly. So different universities have different blackboards set up in different ways. And teachers have classes, and you can organize your classes. Students get their classes organized, and you can use a calendar on it to keep track of your stuff. And basically, it's a management tool. That's the best way I can describe it, to keep track of everything. So it's a really handy tool. Anyway, it takes you straight to Blackboard, and that way you can't go to any other URLs, so you can't have another screen open or something like that. You can't record the tests. It's an anti-cheat. Basically, what she wanted me to use was like an anti-cheat software. And in college, that is not particularly popular. And if teachers are watching this and they're like, people cheat on tests, the answer is yes. People cheat on tests. And that's particularly why this teacher wanted to use an anti-cheat software. was she knew people would cheat, which is unfortunate because you don't learn anything by cheating. That's a life lesson for anybody that cheats. You don't learn anything by cheating, and so that's what she wanted us to use. Anyway, I'm rambling on this story. Uh, so I go down to the library, and it was not a good time. Um, I decided that, I mean, at that time I was out of shape. I pretty much just became fat. I'm still fat, okay? Just became fat, and I wanted to ride my bike to class. And I had this really nice bike. It was a Schwinn, and my mom says that my stepbrother broke it. So my stepbrothers, they don't live with my stepdad and my mom full time. They see my stepdad and my mom a couple weeks out of the year for the most part, which is kind of sad, but they live in different states, and that's just kind of how it goes down. You really can't go see someone on the weekends when you live in a different state. So anyway, they come over, they break my bike, and I say, hey, do you have my Schwinn? And she's like, no, your stepbrother broke it. And, I got mad because, of course, she never told me about this. I couldn't really get mad at her because it was my bike. I hadn't ridden it in a long time, so it wasn't like it was her fault that this was the time of my life I wanted to use the thing. But I wanted a bike, so I go down to Walmart and I basically find like an okay bike to ride. Now, looking back, what I should not have done is impulsively bought something. Okay, if you don't like something, just don't buy it. And it's not that I didn't like the bike, because it was a good bike. It just wasn't the right kind of bike. It was a mountain bike. Now, why they sell mountain bikes at Walmart, the world will never know. Typically, people that want to ride on mountains or kind of in an off-road situation don't buy their bikes at Walmart. Not trying to be an asshole, but that's just typically how it goes, okay? So, anyway, I buy the bike. I actually got made fun of on that bike one time. I was pissed. I was really mad about it. And, yeah, anyway. I had to get the bike down from the apartment, and that was stupid because the bike weighed a lot because it was made for off-roading, okay? It was really heavy bike. Absolutely, it was the heaviest bike I've ever driven, okay? And for some reason, it was one of the hardest bikes to pedal. Extremely hard. I mean, it didn't really matter what I did that fucking thing. It just was not a fun time. Oh, man. So anyway, I gruelingly ride this, and I said that really weirdly, but I ride this bike up to the library, which was a fair ride. And as my grandpa said the first time he visited my campus, they put campuses at the tops of hills at every single one of them. I think his wording was, why are colleges always uphill? I think that's what he said. And he's been to a few of them, but and I haven't. But it turned like the second one I went to, this was no joke. The campus actually is so hilly. This is no joke. Now it was a joke, okay? It was a joke. This is no joke though. The person I went with, the joke was, the university is so hilly, they did not require a physical education credit. Now, why it's a joke is my degree. I did not need a physical education course. I did not need a health credit. I didn't need anything like that. It's not high school, for God's sake. It's it's you getting furthering your education. They're not going to make you unless you have a degree that I don't particularly know is health based. You're not going to need to take some physical education course, okay? Or you shouldn't. If you are, you're at some rinky-dink college. Sorry. That's just you are. Anyway, so he says, yeah. So that was the joke. Anyway, so I ride all the way uphill, go to the library, which is ages away from my apartment, and I was out of shape, of course. I get there, I get to the computer, and I load up the computer. All right, and she kind of explained where they were. All right, I loaded up the computer, and the software's not on it. You know, I'm like, well, okay, software's not on it. That's no good. And you know, I was kind of shy. I still kind of am, just because my weight gives me anxiety. All right, I feel like people are judging me because there was a point in my life where I wasn't fat, and now I'm fat. I don't like being fat. We don't need to go into that. But anyway, so I talked to this woman, and I say, hey, I need to talk to somebody about this. There's no software. You know. And she's like, okay, I need to go talk to Chad. I'm like, okay. You know, so she goes, talks to Chad. Chad's not in the building. So she says, I said, I need to take this. I needed to take a test. Alright, I needed to take a test, and I explained what the software did. And I said, I need to take this test. It's due next class, Wednesday. This test is due. So we got homework the first day of class. Welcome to why I absolutely hate high school, college, whatever. You know, and so, you know, just give me some more work. And so, no, and it wasn't to teach me anything. Okay, if she would have taught me something and was like, go take a quiz over this, I wouldn't have been so mad. But it was just take a quiz to figure out, basically, that you learn how to use the software is what the quiz was for. Why it had to be on the third day of, or the second day of class, I have no idea. Okay. So anyway, I am put through the ringer on this one because I don't want to come to class and say that I didn't do this assignment, because that's just the kind of person I am. Okay. So I go down there, and they say, Chad's not in. And I say, okay, Chad's not in. I need to take this test. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? So, well, you can go talk to basically like an IT department. They're located in such and such building, which was all the way across campus. Literally the exact opposite side of campus is the building they wanted me to go to. And I said, okay. And of course, this was my first semester at this college. I didn't really know where anything was. You know, luckily I knew where that building was in particular, but regardless. She told me they were in this building. I'm like, okay, perfect. They didn't tell me a room number or whatnot because they just didn't know. I said, perfect. And I think she called him, potentially. I can't recall. It's all kind of a haze at this point. But anyway, no, I don't think she called him. No, she didn't call him. Anyway, so she's like, you need to go to this building. I'm like, okay, perfect. I'll go talk to these clowns, and we'll see what's up. Okay? And she said, okay, good. So I go down there, and let's do this, and we'll do that one. So I go down this building, and am I doing a? I am. I'm doing the wood across the top look. And so I go down there, ride my bike. My fat ass was riding this bike. Heavy as a lark. This bike is absolutely heavy. I knew it was a mistake. I almost thought about walking. But I'm like, no, I need to take the bike. So I take the bike across campus, and the bike was not helping me. You think bikes are supposed to help you with because of their gear ratios. This bike was not helping me. it was like I was I mean, it was like on a fucking some kind of elliptical or something that makes you work your ass off. That's what I was on. So anyway, I ride my fat ass down to this basically it was like the central hub of the campus, but it wasn't it was like a orientation kind of building, I guess. Basically, it had like if you wanted to apply for a master's degree program, like some kind of admissions building, okay? It's been a while since I've been on campus or college, so I really can't remember what the building was. But yeah, it was like an administration building. And so I ride down there, and this was like on a Saturday or something. No, it was during a week. It was Tuesday, of course. But it was okay. It wasn't after hours. It was just later in the day, so there really wasn't like things were open because it's a college, so things are open. But there wasn't a lot of people there. So you know, it was probably around like 5 or something. Anyway, go down this building, and there's the IT department still cranking away in this room. And it took me I mean it took me a while to find him. I don't want to say it was like 15 minutes, but it was like 10 minutes. And the reason being is I kept second guessing myself because it literally said the room they were in. She told me what they were called, and I can't remember what they're called now. But she told me what they were called, like the group they were. And I go in the building and I look up the room number on the little sign, and I'm like, okay, it's this, and it had a 0. It's a 0, and then it had the room number. It was in the basement. I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird, but whatever. So I go down in the basement. I go down the stairs, and I keep walking, and there's a whole bunch of hallways. I keep going down these hallways, and I can't find the room. And the further I get in, there's no doors. Like, I keep walking down a hall with no doors. And I'm just walking and walking and walking. And there's just still no doors. And there's just turns. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I'm like, this is not for me. And the reason I say this was because, like, during my orientation for my degree, or like when I was signing up for the program or whatnot, there's a much bigger building that has a tunnel. It's a huge tunnel. I mean, it's like 12 feet tall, the ceiling, and it's like 20 feet wide. And it goes maybe 50 yards, maybe, to a different building. A huge tunnel, And so I'm thought, okay, maybe this is some kind of tunnel to a different building. So I'd back out, and I'd kind of retrace my steps. And I did this a few times. I said it was like, 15 minutes to find these guys, 10 minutes, something like that. And that's why it took me so long to find them. It wasn't like that they weren't clearly stated when you, like, looked for the room. It was just that going down into the basement, down a tunnel, down another tunnel, down, all these turns and stuff. It got a bit weird. So anyway, I eventually find these clowns, okay? And I knock on the door, and they're all sitting in there, and they're like, hey, and I'm like, they were like shocked to see me. Like, why is this guy here? Because I'm a student, and they're like, what the hell is this, They weren't mean about it. I could just generally tell that they were curious as to what I was doing there. And so I tell them what's up. I say, hey, look, I'm supposed to take a test using some sort of anti-cheat software, and I used to know the name of the software, of course. And I said, this is what I need to do. I need to take, and they get all bent out of shape. They get all bent out of shape. They're all been out of shape. They're like, the software was not intended for like campus-wide use. It was intended for I think it was intended for like final tests or something. I can't recall, but they're basically telling me that it was not devised because they didn't own the software, but they implemented it into the campus for a very specific purpose. And they said there was a select few teachers that decided to keep on using it afterwards, and they weren't necessarily supposed to, because I'm assuming it has to deal with the generalization that you can't exclude someone from something, so it had to be in the library. Well, every semester they wipe the computers and they reinstall the computers, and you know, I guess it has to do with the profiles, or it's just to keep them fast, I guess. Anyway, I get a compliment on my shirt. You know, I walk back to the library and they tell me to talk. I don't know, talk to somebody else or something along those lines. Basically, make this long story short, because I've been talking about it for absolute ages now. I don't get the software. The software isn't on the computers. And my teacher calls me a liar. That is to make a long story short. My teacher calls me a liar. And like always, I actually forget why I was mentioning this story, because I talked about it for so long. I don't know what brought up the... But anyway, yeah, my teacher called me a liar. And really gets to me. Because I don't know. I could go on. I could go about it all day, man. That's something you don't do with somebody. You don't call them a liar in front of other people. But that's what she did, and it's history now. But yeah, it'll work out. Eventually, I get the software in the library. I get internet, and I never have to really go back to the. I went to the library a few times. It wasn't something I did all the time. The library. Reason being that you can study, I think, more efficient. Some people can study more efficiently at their apartments or their dorms or whatever. With the books being everywhere, like that was one cool thing I liked about college. Was I had access to any book I really wanted. I had access to it. And the reason that was at both the community college I attended and at the university I attended, they were both set up with this organization, some kind of act, essentially, that allowed basically a really big library to send us digital copies of their books. So they had an online library, like a really big one. Think like a New York or Washington kind of library, like a physical library. And they had all these books digitalized, digital copies of their books. And sometimes they were photocopied, so someone took scans of the pages. Yeah, but a lot of times they were just like typed, like you had a word processor type these up, and that was the book. But a lot of them were that. And you could research anything you wanted to read. And I'm not much of like a reader. I don't really read for fun. I read more to learn stuff. And that was really cool. That was just a really cool thing. I mean, there was just thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of books for free. I mean, I paid tuition and whatnot, but these books were just free. And it was actually set up in such a way, if you needed a book, you could actually order one and have it sent to your school. And you could read the book. I mean, it was free, man. It was free. It was just really cool, that concept to me. But we're not really talking a whole lot about Valheim. I went on a bit of a tangent rant there. But yeah, we're setting this place up to be successful. Now, something that we need to know about this game is there's a lot of things we don't know yet. I know there's a plains biome. I know that. And I know we need to get in the mountains biome, and we need to see what's up there. I know the plains biome has like seeds that we could use. I don't know anything really about them. I think it's like flax or something. Uh, but yeah, we need those seeds. And what we're gonna do with all these different levels is some of them are gonna be used for storage of materials. So like our piles of coal, um, wood, cobble, our fields. So we're gonna have fields of flax or carrots, all that good stuff. Uh, Buildings. We need to have buildings. So we need to get a forge going. Furnaces. We need to get those going. We just need to really get this place into a ship shape status. You know, we've got a fair bit of room here. And I don't particularly know what I want to do with this section here. I don't know if I want to build a building. I would say that's probably the best use of our material right now is to build a building there. But yeah, that's kind of the general plan. And I think I want to expand a little bit this way. It just feels like we need to progress out this way a bit. The only problem with that is we've got this ichthyer spawn. And we could tear these trees down and progress this way. I think that's what we're going to do now. I think that'd be really cool. Just to expand out this way a bit. Instead of having a fully vertical ascension, we have more of a horizontal. Yeah, let's do that. So, yeah, we're feeling our way out around this base here. All I know is I'm digging the vibe so far. I'm liking it a lot. I think having it on this hill is really cool. Now this is Logan's little cantina here. I don't particularly know when this is gonna get done. I'm not mad at him or anything by any means. But it will eventually get done. He's playing a lot of Cyberpunk right now. Yeah, oh, he's playing right now too. Yeah, playing Cyberpunk. He had basically this need to play Cyberpunk recently and hop back on, and he's been chugging through that game. The first time he played it, I don't think he put a whole lot of time into it. I put about 10 hours into it. My brother put, I think, 50 something hours into it. He kind of enjoyed it. It just wasn't made to be for me. I felt like it was clunky and the combat was weird and the graphics weren't anything that I was thrilled about. So that's something that gets me turned off a lot with games anymore. Is people think that you have to have an outstanding graphic for a game to be good. And I would say that only goes so far for me. Okay. Because yes, the game has to look good, but there's more than one way to make a game look great, okay? Like this game, for example, I think this game looks absolutely fantastic. It's one reason I'm able to play it for so long without really getting bored of what I'm doing. The simplicity of the game is just outstanding. Like what I'm doing is oh, not that one. Is easy to it just flows really nice. This was not where I wanted to go. Go back through here. But everyone right now is playing Elden Ring. I mean, I don't know how many streamers right now. There's a lot of streamers out there. I don't know how often they change games. Let's actually just sit here and rest for a second. Get a nice comfort bonus, resting bonus. I don't know how many streamers change games, or how often that goes on. Some people just play like Dota or Apex or some kind of competitive game all the time. But other gamers, they just play different games and whatnot, which is cool. I'm not ragging on them. But everyone that kind of does that, that has that kind of niche market of not niche, unniche market where they're able to be really flexible with the games they're playing, they've switched over to Elden Ring. A lot of people have switched over to Elden Ring, and it's getting a lot of views right now. Elden Ring is. I've played Elden Ring. I own Elden Ring. I own a copy of it. I don't own Elden Ring. I own a copy of Elden Ring. I can play Elden Ring. The thing with Elden Ring that really turned me off was, and is, and my brother kind of called me out for it, but if I can explain, I don't know if I'll be able to make it make sense. So like this game, you really don't know what you're doing. You don't know what's out there, okay? You don't know what's out there, and it doesn't really tell you what you can do until you can do it. Okay, Elden Ring does something similar, but it's not the same. Elden Ring will not tell you what's out there, and nor will it ever explain anything to you, really. So the example I used, because it's what ultimately caused me to quit playing it. I think I put like 60 hours into the game. Played it a few different like starting character classes, whatever you want to call them, presets. I can't remember the exact terminology they used, but ultimately stopped me from playing the game was let's do let's do was and you can watch videos online. I'm not really big on doing that. If I try to do with the game how the game sets itself up. So like this game it only gives you so much information, and I'm fine knowing that information. Like that usually is not upsetting to me. Like the game, like the obliterator over there. I built the thing. It really gave me no information on it. Like if I hit 6 and I hover over something, portal connects to another portal with equal or no tag. Okay. I go over to furniture, or maybe crafting, obliterator. It tells me absolutely nothing. Okay. I don't know what it does. I honestly have no clue what this thing does. And, it just doesn't really tell you anything about it. And when you put something down, I think I put that thing down in, like, Hugin Mayapop. I actually could go to here and go to Hugin Obliterator. I don't see nothing on it. Okay, so there you go. I got nothing. Absolutely nothing. So there you go. I got nothing on Obliterator. So that's what I'm good. Anyway, Elden Ring really turned me off was I made this character, and I was doing the thing. I was doing this game. I was playing it, and I was just trying to figure out some stuff. I was just playing the game, having a good time, and there was some I did not realize, and my brother and my buddy Logan said, "How did you not figure that out?" And it was never inferred to me that I got items from killing. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that particularly. So I knew things. I knew I could get items from killing enemies, and I knew that there was like a random chance of getting those items. Like I knew that. That wasn't like a foreign concept to me. But what irked me is I had to spend 45 minutes. This was no joke. 45 minutes trying to get a shield off one of these guys. And the thing is what irritated me is I had no idea what these guys dropped. I had no clue. I had no idea. I knew I could kill them. I knew that they would drop stuff. I had no idea what they would drop. I had no idea uh, if it was going to be beneficial to me or to the build I was doing or anything like that. And once the shield dropped after like 45 minutes, I was like, okay, so they drop a shield, and before that they dropped some other stuff. They dropped like leggings, they dropped some more leggings, they dropped like another kind of shield, but eventually I get the shield and it's beneficial to me. And so I'm like, okay, I got something that's actually beneficial to the build I want to use. So let's move on. And you're exploring, you're looking around for stuff, and there was like a guy on a hill, and I killed the guy on the top of the hill, and I got this other thing, that was beneficial to me, and it just started making the dots were connecting, that you just had to basically fool around with the world and explore. But I see that as a time waste. It's not like this game where I can. We're not talking about. We're not talking about progressing through the story, or we're not talking about. Finding places that give you new resources or cool places to craft your base. We're talking literally about progressing through the game and trying to find things to help your character win the game. But we're not told where they are, where you should search, if they're going to help your character. And that's what killed me. Was I'm literally getting things that aren't actually assisting me. And there's experienced players out there that look up where things, or not even experienced players, they look up where they need to go. They look up what they need to get. They look up builds, and it's not the kind of player I am. And if that's how the game's designed, man, where like you just walk around and get stuff, it just irritated the absolute crap out of me. It just felt like the biggest waste of time. I think I would much rather prefer, kind of the older kind of style of Elden Ring. And actually, I didn't know I wasn't, I had actually people that agree with me. There was actually people, apparently not coming forward, but they're big fans of Elden Ring, or not Elden Ring, Dark Souls, and all they really had to say about Elden Ring was it wasn't their kind of game. It wasn't meant for them. They wished it would have been more like a traditional Dark Souls game. Because people still play the crap out of Dark Souls, man. Dark Souls 3, they still play the crap out of it. It's just one of those games people think that you can get better at. Like, okay, so God of War. I'm a big God of War fan. Okay. I grew up, I had one of the God of War games, maybe two of them. I looked it up once, which game it was, but I forget what it is now. And the game obviously has changed a lot since then. I think for the better. I'm not saying that old one was bad or anything, but I think the changes they've made to the type of game it is, what it's about, just the changes they've made to it are good. I think they're good. So anyway, there's people that play God of War, and I just can't imagine doing that. Like I played God of War. I did God of War Plus. When I got ported over to Steam, or PC, I bought it on Steam. You know, I really like God of War. I thought God of War was one of the best games of all time. I thought it was amazing. I still think it's amazing. I think it's a great game. I think there's a lot of good voice acting in it. I think it's got a really great story. Um, there's a lot they can do with it, and I look forward to God of War Ragnarok, which is coming out soonish, I think. I probably won't buy it at release. I don't really look up games on media, so if there's spoilers, I probably won't find them. And even the story isn't what interested me the most about God of War. It definitely helps. I mean, it definitely helps. Like, I got to the point where God of War, where I was getting good. I was getting really good. I mean, I was just smoking stuff. But at the same time, I'm not the kind of player that wants to like Mortal Kombat style, where you get your fingers to time, mostly because my fingers won't do it. I just don't have that kind of dexterity. I could probably learn it, but I mean, I've tried. I've tried playing guitar, and I think most of it stems from the fact that I played tuba in high school. And the thing with tuba is the movements of your fingers aren't exactly. I never got out of the habit of not moving quickly. You don't do a whole lot. You fix your fingers a lot of the time. You don't have to be light. And even now, I have a claw. I actually bend playing cards all the time. My brother gets on me about it. He's like, "Why do you do this?" I don't know, man. I just got the iron grip. You know, it's more or less annoying than anything, but it doesn't really affect me none. You know, oh yeah, okay. Old rain. The grading looks cool in this place. Logan was kind of dismayed. He tested it, but yeah, it does. The water does come through the grading. And the art style in this game, getting back to the game, the art style is just fantastic on this game. I think it's really good. One thing that irritates me about a game like this is when it comes to haircuts, specifically like a more male haircut and facial hair, okay, is they don't connect the beard with the sideburn. That annoys the crap out of me, alright? It's not that hard to do. You know, it's not. It's not. Not all men have. I usually have longer sideburns. I like a longer sideburn. That's just my style. Some people have no sideburns. You know, they just cut it straight off. You know, but I like a longer sideburn. Okay, here we go. Back into the winds, the waters. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be right back. I've got another 20 minutes, and then I got to go. So I will be right back, though. Okay. We are back, and we're loving it. Okay. So we are rested. Back in the rain. One thing I love about this game, but I also hate, is going with how good it looks. I think they do weather really well. I think the rain is not annoying, and the most annoying game I can think of in terms of rain, which just isn't my opinion, is Minecraft. Minecraft has one of the most annoying rains out of any game I think anyone has ever played. It's just not. It's not a good rain. It's just not good. It's just annoying. Every time it rains in Minecraft, it's just annoying. Okay, you got an oak tree here, which I believe just drops regular wood. I used to mark these on maps because I thought one day they were going to give me some really good wood, but I think they just give you wood. They used to give either fine wood or wood, maybe core wood. I can't really recall. Looks like a mix of both. Looks like it's a mix of both fine and regular wood. So, yeah, nothing too spectacular. It did give me a little bit of wood, but nothing major. Okay, so we are cutting these guys down. I had a guy in the comments one time. Did he actually follow me? I think that... Who was this? Yeah, they did. I honestly... Honestly can't remember. That's absolutely crazy. Maybe they followed me offline. I can't recall. And Mello followed me too. Cool. Man, that's absolutely amazing. I forgot all about this. Yeah. So anyway, they were telling me it was not them. I'm thinking of someone else. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I was told that it's faster to cut down these little sapling guys than cutting down these big old trees here. Which is the case. I mean, yeah, you're getting a little. Oh crap! You're getting a little bit of wood. I don't know if it's the case. Actually, I don't know. I mean, you get. I guess it is. I mean, it's taking me a lot more work to cut down these trees here. Yeah. So it's definitely the case that if you just walk through, hit a sapling or whatever, and you get the wood out of it, you're definitely you're getting more time, for sure. But what we're looking for is just clearing out a forest. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna mine this guy because it does not need to be that high. Now, as far as I know so far, the Iron Gate, I want to say the developer of the game, they've basically already, declared, stated, or whatnot, that they are not going to change the mechanic in terms of how the terrain works. So, see how this is kind of awkward? They've pretty much already said they're not going to change that. Because it would have to be a overall of the entire terrain generation, or terrain mechanic, however you want to phrase it. I don't blame them. I think it's okay. It's not my favorite, which I don't mean to criticize that. It's just not my favorite mechanic. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite one. It works really well. I think it definitely looks good, or it can look good. But like something like this, like that looks good. But like this, I don't know what's causing this. Like that. So that right there is raised up material that we see. Look at that. So you kind of just have to know the game a little bit, and you can kind of make it look good. You can kind of clean it up. It's just a bit tough. Still not used to it, but we'll figure it all out. So we need to extend this here. Okay, so we are going to put this down. Okay. This is all somewhat kind of level here. Okay. And we can build up. And we're just laying down the foundations of a base. I kind of, I don't know. I think I kind of almost... I think the main thing with me and Logan is we tend to have a lot of creative differences, I think. Potentially. Could just be me thinking that. I don't know if he particularly likes what I've done with the base here. I don't particularly know. I think he could have had a different vision for it, and I kind of just went for it. But main thing is I can't wait. I can't wait for the guy. Oh, that's a cool picture. My brother's doing some like ancestry stuff, and he's able to find a picture. Oh, sorry. Found a picture of a relative of mine. He's passed away now, and yeah, like Ancestry. Like I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if it's like Ancestry.com, but think Ancestry.com. And he said he wasn't really too happy with the resource. He wasn't getting everything he wanted. I think the main thing that he wanted to look at, see what it was all about, was the guys that worked asked him to do it. I think we're gonna see if this guy can level up our blocking. So we're just gonna chill out here for a second and just block it. So I watched a video at work, or yeah, I watched a video while I was at work. More or less listened to it, but basically I have headphones on all day at work. I listen to music. Depends on the day. It's not 100% of the day. Probably averages out to about 50%. Yeah, it doesn't mean I always have music on, but there's sound cancelers. My brother bought them for me, and he's kind of like me, where noise is kind of a distraction. Some people, I get bothered by noise immensely. It's very annoying to me. If I hear people talking, or it's just the biggest distraction in the world. It's one of the reasons why I can't really study that well. Is that I just get so distracted by it. And anyway, so I was listening to this video and looking at these pictures, and this guy lives in, I believe, Ireland. I believe he's Irish. And he said there's a village in his, there's a road in his village called the Cobbles, and the Cobbles had like 3 abandoned houses. And I don't know how big a village is. Okay, I'm gonna guess maybe 100 people. I don't know. He called it a village. It could be 2,000 people. I don't really know. Anyway, he's walking through the Cobbles, and he says he walked on it every day on his way home. And there was 3 houses, and he kind of gave the background about each house. Like one, the city used for a museum. Or the village used for a museum. I thought that's kind of weird. You have an abandoned building and you turn it into a museum, so it's not really abandoned, is it? You know. And then another abandoned building was like used, like he couldn't tell if someone was living there or what, but it was used obviously for storage. And then there was a third one, which is the last one, and he basically ends up saying he bought it, and it was his first home. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. You know, you buy an abandoned building, and I think we have a bit of a different definition when it comes to the word abandoned. He bought it from someone in particular, so someone owned it. It wasn't like the village owned it, and they were using it as for storage. They had stuff in there. And he kind of took a before picture of when it had stuff in it, and then an after picture when it was empty. And he took pictures and videos of his whole way through this process. And I was a little dismayed, okay, because I grew up doing home improvement type stuff, renovation type stuff, and when someone buys a house and they just throw money at it, it really turns me off. To a point, okay, it turns me off to a point. If you buy a house and it's worth something, okay, it's worth something. So let's say you buy a house and it's worth $120,000, okay. That house has value. $120,000 is not a cheap home where I live, okay. It's somewhat expensive. If you're poor to middle class, you're probably gonna buy a house. You can buy a house within that range, okay? $150,000, you're starting to look at a lower end kind of middle class kind of home, up all the way up until $200,000. You can get up to $210,000. You're looking at, you know, $250,000. Looking at more of a, you know, upper middle class type home, and then you can get all the way up to $300,000, and we're definitely either, you know, I don't know when middle class stops for you in particular, but that's kind of the range of houses you're looking at, okay? Now down the road, in a large city, it's a very large city. You can buy a $250,000 home, and that is just going to be a middle class house. You know, example, my coworker. He bought basically a one-kid home. Like, you could only have one kid and that house for $250,000. You know, and it's a decent-sized home. It's just the layout, the house, and whatnot. But that's what you're looking at. So a bit of a difference where I live, okay? Cost of living is a little bit different, okay? Wages are also a little bit different, okay? You get paid more down in that city. Which it blows me away why he's a good guy. I definitely don't want him to leave, but blows me away why he's working where I work, because you can make more money down in that city. And anyway, you know, when this guy talks about buying this house and it's worth nothing, it has no value, like you can't live in it, the floors are dirt or mud, it's an old cobblestone, you know, Irish home, or old stone brick Irish home, you know, so it's got mud floors, dirt floors, you know, so it doesn't have a whole lot of actual value to it. It blows me away why people don't particularly think to do the renovation themselves. You know, it's because that's what I grew up doing. You know, it's what I learned, a lot of cool, interesting things. And you can make the argument, well, people don't know how to do that. And that's what I'm saying is, if you have a home that's worth nothing, why pay someone to screw up what you can't screw up anymore? Now, where he lives, he could have some kind of regulation, like he can't do that work himself or something along those lines. But I was a little disappointed that I didn't get to see this guy do the work himself. Now, it was really cool watching the transformation of this old Irish home, because one, where I live, we don't have that kind of home. We don't have like these old stone brick homes that have mud floors. We just don't have them. You know, and just to see what they had to do, you know, what the process was to modernize it was really cool. Like, they had to put insulation in it. Well, what was the process to go about doing that? What kind of insulation could you put? You have a stone wall. Did you have to put like studs around the wall and then put insulation in it? And the insulation they put in it, actually, I don't particularly know the name of it, but I could tell the kind of style of it, and it actually turned me off too, because either it was really expensive for it to be effective, or it wasn't really going to do a whole lot. And he lived in a place where radiators are popular for heating, and in the States, well, where I am in the States, radiators aren't popular. I grew up in a house with radiators, so I actually know a little bit about them. And when people talk about radiators, it's actually it's not weird to me because I understand why, but it's actually kind of cool that I know a little bit about them. I knew, because we just don't use them in the States very often. In New York, now I don't know much about New York, but so I've heard. Apartment buildings in New York are obviously older, because New York's been around a long time. The buildings are old and older. They're not old. They're just older. And having a radiator in your apartment isn't uncommon. So people know about them in New York. They know what a radiator is. But yeah, in the United States, they're not too particularly common. So that was cool. You got a radiator and the insulation, but like the roof. The roof was something this guy, he was just pouring money into this house. I mean, once you start, you kind of had to finish, because I just didn't see anyone in that village taking that house off him. I mean, it was abandoned for who knows how long, and no one else wanted it, And he wanted his first house, but he was just pouring money into this house. I mean, he paid to get the roof fixed. He paid to get the stonework redone on a majority of the exterior of the house because the roof had to get fixed. It was just the windows had to get replaced, which required the entire face of this building to get re-bricked. Absolutely crazy. He got a good gutter on it. It was a smaller home. There's no offense to him, and he actually worked with a contractor really well and said, "Hey, I want this, this, and this," and the contractor did it. And he had a lot of good ideas. But, that is the cool thing about buying a home and fixing it. And the only thing I would be is if you had a small home, and that's kind of what I'm looking for myself right now, is a smaller home. Not a smaller home, take that back. So one thing that bothers me is I don't particularly, and I honestly know it stems from something my grandpa said to me, which is it's a home for growth. That's what he told me, and that stuck with me, which is not necessarily a good thing, because I don't need a big home. I don't need that kind of payment. I don't have like a second income. It's just me. I don't need that big of a property. But having a home with some kind of growth is good. I mean, money you're putting towards that home obviously works a bit better because you're going to be in it for a long time. So it's not as much of a loss. You're not giving money to someone else, essentially. Like if you put a roof on a place, okay, that doesn't justify an increase in the value of the home. It doesn't. A lot of people think it does. But like, I put a roof on this, and you're like, you want me to pay for your roof? And I'm like, yeah. And then, now we have to ask questions. Well, how do I know that your roof had to get replaced? Well, you don't know. Okay, why do you want me to pay for your roof then? What if you went to a bad roofer? What if the roofer charged you way too much or did a bad job on the roof? What if the roofer won't uphold the warranty because we change? I'm not the person that purchased it, you know. What if your receipt's no good? So there's a lot of reasons why a roof does not justify an increase in value, but a lot of people think it does, you know, and that's why a lot of people will put new roof on the property. Okay, one, that's what they're trying to do is say you don't have to worry about a roof because a lot of people have a good reason to fear that the roof is going to need to be replaced in the next couple of years after they buy the property. You know, for good reason. Roofs are not cheap. A roof is not a cheap thing. You know, and you know, there's a couple reasons you can go about getting a roof paid for, not out of your pocket. I mean, you can get loans for roofs. You know, but it's not a cheap thing. So yeah, he got that roof replaced. It was a good little home. But yeah, if I could get a small house, there was a house for sale. They wanted like $65,000 for it, and it actually seemed fairly reasonable. Now, I've talked about this before while streaming, but the housing market is absolutely trash right now. People keep buying these outrageously priced homes. Now, you know, I get it. You know, some people have more, you know, they feel more stable with their job or they got raises maybe. I don't particularly know. The interest rates are really good right now, so a lot of people are looking to get those nice interest rates. But my goodness, guys, you're paying way too much for these homes. Way too much. They're just not worth it. And I honestly, a guy at work, he basically asked me, he's like, you don't, or you know, he was curious as to why I think the housing market isn't going to go up anymore. And the reason I believe it's not is because you would have to be the dumbest person on the planet, and people are doing it. So, you know, for example, I had a coworker of mine sell their house for I think $20,000, something along those lines. And he sold it, and then it sold during like 2 years later during this housing market uproar, and they sold it for $165,000. Now, you don't have to be a genius to do that kind of math. That's literally more than 33%. Okay, so we had 120. So you divide that by 3, you get 40. 40,000. You tack that on, that's 160,000. Okay, and you add an extra $5,000 on. So it's more than 33%. A third. The house price went up by 33%. Absolutely astronomical. In 2 years, 33%. And this guy's asking me, you don't think the housing market is going to increase? Well, God, I hope not. Are you kidding me? The houses are only getting older. They're only getting more problems. They're getting more dated. Where I live, people do not replace their stuff. They don't put new cabinets in. They don't redo paint. They don't do exterior work. No new siding. They do the bare minimum. And they sell their house and they think it's worth more. It blows me away that these people are buying these homes. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And it's not off topic, but it's totally off topic. So the game New World, okay? I don't know if you guys know about that. It was the Amazon MMO. My buddy asked me, he thought it was tanking recently. And it's not tanking. It's not. But like the all-time high for that game was like 900,000 players at once. And the other day, I looked at a peak. Okay, so it peaked. Its all-time peak was 900,000 players at one time. Okay, and I looked it up the other day, and the peak for the month Okay, peaked for the month was at I think like 27,000. So you could say it's gone down. The player base has gone down. Okay. Now that's not like shaming the game. You know, I'm not like coming on here being like, oh, the game sucked and it deserves to be at 29,000 or 27,000, whatever. It's not what I'm saying. But one of the reasons I think that is a lot of people saw problems that I was foreseeing, which the content in the game was not there. So the economy was entirely player driven. And it's not the first time someone's done that. But the way it worked about, the way the economy worked, I could foresee a lot of problems. And it annoyed the absolute crap out of me. I mean, the players in that game absolutely tanked the economy. Did a terrible job. They just tanked it. Oh, that doesn't look bad at all. And yeah, it just wasn't the best. The way they went about doing it wasn't very good. Now, where do we want another staircase? I think we want a staircase here. I think that will work well with there being a building right here. So if I can get maybe a floor panel, I don't particularly like. We could delete that one actually. So let's do that. Let's expand this guy off, and we can route that guy. And we'll delete this, and we can actually coast up the side here. Okay. That is a little disappointing. How do I want to do this? I could start here. Yeah. I don't care for the ladders. I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm not a huge fan of the ladders. And what I'll do, we'll dive up this side. That's not gonna work. It's just not gonna flow right. So we'll do that. We'll go back to the plan here of having this connect right there. Okay. Okay, that's not a bad transition. That's the main thing. Does it transition well? I don't want a player to get hung up. I think that's the worst. Okay. So that's all good. I don't want to do that. But we'll do this. Yep. And we'll do this. Come on. Boards facing that way? No, other way. Okay. And we need more wood. And we'll drop it down. Actually, what we could do is we could even put a little building in there. And we may just do that to make it more crisp. More clean cut. Or maybe put the staircase here and put the workbench up there. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, no? I don't know. We need more wood, though. And we'll goof around with it. We'll get more wood. So I definitely want to kind of keep this Ichthyer summoning thing more covered than anything. It's it just aesthetically does not look the best. If I could figure out a way to get rid of it, I would. I don't really want it here. Be honest with you guys. I don't particularly know if there's a reason why you need to kill Ichthyer more than once. I don't know why. I don't particularly know if there's any reason why you need to kill any boss more than once, unless you lose what they give you. Like I could foresee that problem. Okay, so okay, so yeah, nothing particular. You get 3 hard antlers from the guy, and that's really the extent of what he gives you. I mean, that's it. Did not mean to do that. I absolutely hate that. My brother's asking a question. What? Okay. All right, so we're gonna get some more wood here, and we'll eventually, I think, just put some saplings up and wall that off. I think that'd be the way to do it. No need to get extreme about it. We'll just wall it off. Won't have to look at it. Now, something that is a little bit annoying, but there's nothing you can really do about it, is monsters will spawn in this game randomly on you, I believe. I believe that's how it works. I don't think you particularly need to be... Maybe you just have to be near a workbench. Maybe that's the logic behind it. I don't know, but they'll spawn you. So they spawned me up that base at one time, and the thing is, as the game gets harder, they're gonna be able to bust on those walls relatively easier. I think that's one reason I think Logan asked me why they weren't stone or something along those lines. But the main deal is that stone is very hard to manipulate. It doesn't look the best, in my opinion. I can never get it to do what I want it to. It doesn't clip through the ground very easy. So it's just not the best material to work with. Also, the main thing is you have to have a stone cutter. Now, stone cutters aren't necessarily hard to make or anything along those lines, but it's just not a practical kind of thing. Also, I didn't like the look of it. I didn't think it looked best. But again, when we're talking about the base, that I kind of like the idea of designing. Not that if someone came on and was like, I don't like this, or I want to do something differently, they couldn't do it. I would be a little disappointed because I spent some time doing this but you know, if someone initially would have said, hey, I don't want to do this, that'd be fine with me. I'm not going to get mad at them. But yeah, stone just doesn't present the same way. I definitely am going to do stone towards more of like a castle type. I think that's going to look good. I think it's going to look real good. You're one of these guys. These guys give great stamina. 30 stamina, are you kidding? So yeah, we are... This place is starting to really take shape. There's a lot going on. We could smooth these out with some 45s, maybe just the 26s. I think that's got a bit more of a style that I can get along with. It's not as aggressive. Now look at these guys. I don't think they should attack my wall. I don't think they'll attack the wall just to attack it. But I'm not 100% sure. So he's definitely seen me. Now he doesn't know where I am. He's lost me. Absolutely love the mace. The mace is just awesome. Okay, what we got going on here? There we go. Took him out to dinner. I mean, this place is just becoming really cool. We're getting pretty high up. I mean, this is probably going to be the highest point we get. And so we can probably close this off here. Yeah. Maybe that's when we start doing our stone. Maybe we do all stone in the mountain. Maybe that's what we need to do. That's the transition, maybe. I don't particularly know. I don't know. It's tough. Stone is just so much harder to get. It's just way harder to get. I don't even know the best way to go about getting it. Like, I don't know if I can just go to the other side of a mountain. Well, my brother. He just sent me over a family tree that someone did for my grandfather. It's pretty interesting stuff. Oh, I see me more. Let's see what he's got here. Send me a name 1 second here. Wayward. Well, that guy's, if I'm related to that guy, that's kind of cool. No way. That guy is very popular. Hmm. There's known to be 50,000 people related to that guy. Hmm. I don't know how they would know I'm related to that guy. Obviously, they've traced the family tree back to him. I mean, that's the thing about relatives, man. We're all connected. When I say that, instantly thought about a conversation I had at work. So, at work, it's kind of well known that, I say well known to me that I am the most, I've done the most research in terms of religion. And we all have, well, the people I work with, we all have similar beliefs. I've told people specifically, like, I don't have any kind of denomination that I claim with my religion. Because I think denominations are a useful tool. I think they're a great tool, actually. But I let me explain this the best way I can. They're a great tool for me to know who I'm talking to, but they're not a great tool in terms of me describing myself to someone else. Okay, so I can explain that better with political parties. So in the United States, we've got two primary political parties. We have the Democratic and the Republican parties. Republican Party. They're not a Republic Party. A Republican Party. So if someone says they're a Democrat, I can instantly tell you uh, some of the beliefs that they typically have, and the majority of them. Okay, you can assume the majority of them it would be what they believe in. Now that is not always the case. So my father, for example, uh, he he supported a party that he did not share the primary belief did not share primary beliefs with. Um, we don't need to get into why or whatnot. It doesn't make a difference. But the reasoning is it doesn't matter either. But what I'm getting at is when you tie yourself to a party, people start to assume things. And that's why I don't tie myself to any party. I don't tell people what party I support or what party I don't support or anything along those lines, because people group you into a hierarchy. Okay? And it just doesn't. I don't care for that. I don't care for groupthink. I think groupthink is a useful tool, but we use it in all the wrong places, it seems. So I don't like groupthink. I think it's a concept that is useful, but we need to, as a society, leave it alone in certain circumstances. So yeah, I don't really identify with. I personally identify with some groups. I just don't tell people what they are because that they don't. It's none of their business. Because they'll start thinking I think certain things before I tell them. They assume things. I don't like that. Anyway, I thought about Cain. Uh, Cain and Abel, which is in the Christian, Jewish, Old Testament, Catholic, it's big in the Catholics and Jewish religion. Anyway, you know, what brought it up was, what triggered it was something I said a second ago, which had to deal with, I can't recall. Honestly, can't. I've lost it. Oh, family tree. We're all connected. We're all connected. And like Christian, Judaism, and a lot of other religions. You start with even Norse mythology. If I remember correctly, in Norse mythology, uh, the man and woman uh, were created from trees. I think, if I remember correctly, I think they were created from trees. And Christianity and Judaism, man was made from dirt, and earth, and woman was made from the rib of Adam, and all that good stuff. Anyway, what happened was it had to do with what brought up was Cain. So we were talking about Cain, and I don't particularly know how we got onto Cain, and it was just kind of passing. It didn't really take a whole lot of time to talk this out, but people pick things up from media, and they don't take the time to do the well-needed research on that topic. And I don't necessarily blame them, but media has absolutely corrupted people. So a coworker of mine, says he asked me. I think he wanted to just contribute to the conversation. Because I've talked religion before. We're talking about stories. We're talking about how the Bible is just it's a large storybook. I mentioned that to my father one time, and it was kind of funny to me that someone mentioned it to me at work, that it was just a large story, because it's got a lot of stories in there. It's got a lot of phantasmic things, and some people believe different things, and we don't need to go into that. But such as we could go into it. What I mean by that is you have someone that I don't know much about this person, so I don't want to definitely diss on him or say something that I don't understand entirely. But essentially, I believe they're called. I'm probably gonna say this wrong. Like a creationist, I believe is what the correct terminology would be, and I don't particularly know if I'm understanding the correlation of their belief and the name, but I believe, if I understand it correctly, that if you're a creationist, you believe that the Earth was actually created in 7 days, as per what the Bible states. Okay, the Christian or Judaic Bible, what that states is that it was made in 7 days, and that's what it says. The seventh day of rest and all that good stuff. Now, in terms of terminology, if someone believed in that, okay, that's a different belief than someone else. But and people have different beliefs. They have different beliefs with religion, and that's essentially what we're talking about. And but in terms of belief, a coworker of mine asked me, wasn't Cain immortal? And what got my gourd was, and I like that saying quite a bit. That's why I say it. What got my gourd was that in particular, Oh, we in terms of that, we talked about how how you got from that was we talked about how people were different than they used to be, and I brought up the subject that Adam, from Adam and Eve, he lived for 900 years. We all came from Adam and Eve, and Adam lived for 900 years, and you know, but we obviously don't anymore. So we've changed over time. People were just a bit different than they used to be, and you know, that was essentially what we were talking about. And he said, well, and then they brought up, didn't Adam have immortality? Wasn't he immortal? And what got me about that was nowhere there would be no way to translate that from the text that we're given, because if they were immortal, it would have been clearly stated, because that is something that isn't foreign to the book or set of books. The immortality is not something that isn't talked about, so they would know how to clearly state if someone was immortal in the Bible. You know, it would have been known. You know, it would have been clearly stated this person lived forever, or what, immortal, or whatever. He would have just used the word. It wouldn't be uncommon to have used that word. And what got my gourd was this person extrapolated that from media. And the reason I say that is because the first one that comes to mind, which is I think one of the big reasons that started it all, was you had the show Supernatural, one of my favorite shows ever, all time. And as a man, you know, it's not a very manly show to watch. It's a drama. It's got some action. It's got some comedy in it. It's why I like it. But it's also got a lot of drama, you know. And I actually am a big fan of dramas. I to an extent. I don't like soapy, romantic love triangle crap. Not a big fan of that. Okay. Like romantic comedies I'll watch, but like the soap kind of drama, like, you know, woman walks into a room and she says, "You cheated on me," and slaps this guy, and you're all just standing there, and the music's like, you know, oh man, you know, screw that stuff, you know, man, no, we've had enough of that. But get to my point. Supernatural basically turned into this, you know, religious. You know, everything stems from God, and they had these big religious arcs in the story, and one of them had Cain, from Cain and Abel, involved. And Cain was immortal, and he had what the show called the Mark of Cain, which Cain in the Bible was marked. And you know, the show, of course, changes it. You know, it makes it a bit ominous and ooh, you know, and it's really cool. You know, I mean, in terms of the show, I mean, it's a cool plot point. They do a really good job on it, and it just it's a cool bit of writing. Now, you know, ideas can be copied, and I think the idea of Cain and the Mark of Cain only got more so in shows, and this is really bright right here. I don't know what's up with this. I'm getting some God Ray type just shoot me in the eyes. And there's nothing wrong with that, but everyone's doing Mark of Cain. And then you have the show, what is it, Lucifer? So, of course, it's a big hit show, and I don't watch it, but I got an ad for it, and it was, you know, I don't want to say coincidentally, but it kind of happened after we talked about Cain and Abel, and that kind of goes to show that your technology is listening to you, okay? And you know, or I think I typed in Cain, and the cookies probably transferred something into YouTube or something, but because I was a bit curious to see how old Cain lived, which was like 700 some odd years, okay? I think it was like 760 years. And you know, go down here and get us. So anyway, Mark of Cain. Okay. Well, the show has Cain, and he doesn't have the mark of Cain, but he's immortal. He's an immortal being. And the reason that gets my gourd is you got people that extrapolate what they learn off these television shows or any show. They take and not even extrapolate. They just formulate, truths behind this stuff. And they just assume, oh, it's not a forge. They just assume that is the truth. And it's not their fault. They get led on and stuff like that, And that's media, man. It's just absolutely hurting this society in a lot of sense. And I wasn't mad at the guy. I wasn't mad at him. I think he thought he was in the right, thinking that Cain was immortal, or that I didn't know what I was talking about, which he has the right to do. I mean, we're talking about religion in the first place, so not everyone's can be right. I mean, there's only and I think his belief was, in terms of religion, that his belief is that everyone is right, and that all religions are like tied together or something along those lines. Which, I mean, it sounds nice, but I don't see that being the case. I mean, religions are similar, but some religions are similar, but they're just not the same. And of course, my religion, which he states he shares, which is fine. He can stay wherever he wants. States he shares religion with me is, that is his belief. Which in my text clearly states that is not the case. Clearly states there's only one. Clearly states what the religion is. Clearly states the rules. Clearly states any question that you ever have. It clearly states it. So it always gets me. Not him in particular, but when people talk religion. But I'm a big fan of religion. I think religion's an interesting thing. I mean, coming from the U.S., not that we're the only ones with freedom, because that's definitely not the case. A lot of people in the U.S. get that twisted. Another thing, thanks to the poor education system and whatever else you want to throw at it, that we're definitely not the ones with the freedom of religion. There are a lot of places that have freedom of religion. A lot of places. Not all places, but there's a lot of them. Okay, what we got here? But I'm a big fan of freedom of religion. I think having the right to choose what freedom you have is, or not what freedom, what religion you have is really important. Not everyone has that capability. Because they don't have that capability. And anymore, we live in a society which almost dictates your religion. There was a guy, he had a really good argument with somebody one time. And that was the end of that story. No, he had a really good argument with somebody in terms of if he was born back in like Norway, back in like the 1800s or something, he would have probably worshipped the Odin, and all that good stuff. Probably worshipped Odin, all that stuff. And and you know, the list goes on. But that is an argument you can make with somebody that your the place where you live can define your religion. But argument for another day. We rambled a lot today. I really hope no one watches this episode in particular, because we did not have any good conversations. None. I don't know what happened today, but none. No good conversations. I don't think anyone stopped really in the chat, which doesn't upset me because I'm a smaller channel, or I'm newer or whatnot. I don't have a consistent schedule, but it would have been nice for someone to say hi or something. So there's that. But always next time. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you stayed for all this junk that we talked about today, but we'll see you around next time, eh?